Familia hermosa, llega el momento de compartir con una banda que nos encanta, que a la escena independiente y alternativa de República Dominicana, pues tiene locos desde hace muchísimo tiempo. Yo estoy seguro de que a
Yeah.
ustedes les encanta Miami Horror, que están con nosotros.
Yeah.
Hello, Daniel Ben from Miami Horror. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Good, thank you. How are you?
We're
We're
great.
great here. We're really excited for this interview. I'll limit the amounts of excited I say in this interview.
Yeah, every time we do an interview, she goes excited as hell.
Yeah, I repeat that like constantly. So please, give me a chance. But honestly, we're so happy to actually have this moment and talk to you guys. You guys are coming to the DR.
First of all, I would like to say that Daniel is about to get a haircut in 30 minutes. Tell us about that, Daniel.
I'm sure. I mean, I got to look beautiful for the people of DR, don't I? You know,
Obviously.
it's a week away for the
Are
show.
they coming to your house, Dan, to do
No.
this haircut?
I'm in the salon now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
What's the name of the salon so we can maybe have it and go after you?
You're gonna
Some-
ask. I think it's called Tech Salon in Costa Mesa. That's how much I know.
You weren't that far.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm
There you go. So, Ben, what were you doing right before this interview?
I'm actually working on a song for an ad, which I don't do very often. But I was supposed to get paid well, so I was attempting to do it.
Do you find it
It's a
fun?
What was that?
Do you find it fun?
It can be fun, but again, only if you're like actually getting paid, because you have to pitch on it.
Yeah.
So sometimes multiple people are doing it, and then if you win, they'll probably ask you for like 100 changes, and so it can be a bit of a roundabout scenario, and it's already starting to take too long. So, yeah,
Doesn't-
I'm getting weary of whether they're actually going to be paying me well or not.
Do you think it's possible you can let us know what is the commercial about, not saying the brand?
Oh, I don't know if I can, but yeah, I can't.
Okay,
How
that's
about
fine.
we don't risk a lawsuit
Yeah.
because of this interview?
Yeah, it
I'd
was just
rather-
me, cousin.
Yeah, no,
Cousin.
let's not go that far. But yes, Miami Horrors is actually coming here to the DR. It's just so great. We really love your music here. I feel like you guys can feel that Latin American, Caribbean feeling of love towards Miami Horror ever since their debut. We've been really following through with even the amounts of albums and collaborations. You guys are still making really good music, and that's something I wanted to take advantage of in this interview, just to reiterate like how good you guys are and how much we love you.
Well, it's just I can't accept that, because we've been making so much better music, and it's still not out. It's taking forever. So, but trust me, like we're so ever since 2020, the music is so good, and just nobody even knows. So
Oh my
we're
God.
trying really hard to actually make it happen.
I mean, I love Restless. It's
Yeah.
When I heard that it was out, I was like so excited. And I know you guys were preparing to actually launch an album in 2020, but then the
pandemic.
gorgeous pandemic
Yeah.
happened, and everything
Yeah.
was paused.
It was a little bit of a unsure kind of situation anyway. Like we're working on a lot of R&B kind of funk stuff. There was like a lot of feature vocalists, and even like a few more hip hop elements that just didn't feel right in the end. So that everything that we did from 2017 to 19, besides the two that came out, got scrapped. And 2020, that's when I started working on a new album that actually felt far more Miami Horror-ish, because the pandemic kind of let everyone reset mentally,
Yeah.
and then it started making me think more about the significance of everything, and really finding yourself. So yeah, that's why it's taken a lot longer, because we started again.
It's totally understandable. And now that there's a lot of trends going on in music, because music is so overexposed in so many ways, now it is like so it could be hard to just stay in the lane that you would like without experimenting and feeling like it affects the sound you're trying to make. How do you guys keep that Miami horror essence that still happen to this day and still I can listen in Restless, for example?
Okay, so yeah, for me, I would say that it's not really in Restless as much as, say, the first album, and even obviously things on the second album. So it's interesting that you see and hear that. That's good. That's a good sign that there's still something there coming through those songs. But I think like ultimately it comes from this, like if you think back to the feeling that the first album gave, there's something like really nuanced in there that comes from us that doesn't really sound like other people. It's just like a very subtle type of storytelling and emotion. Like there was a lot of elements and lyrics about like space and light and just like using very visual lyrics and things like that. So there's that as well. And I think like the new album is really, there's like we've lost all the confusion of what are we doing, who are we, what should we do, what are trends, and it's just like back to connecting to that feeling that came through in those best songs and is coming through again. So I think like with any band, that's how you really do what you do. It's not about the sound, it's not the production. Like as I said, we did some funk and some R&B stuff, and it's like a lot of those sounds could be considered Miami horror-ish, but at the end of the day, there's a deeper feeling there and a like subtle melancholy and all these things that can come out of what we do that are unique to us. So it's about emphasizing those things.
I would like to talk about feelings. It's been 12 years since Illumination. That was the album that made us fall in love with you guys. And I would like to know when you go back, and obviously because of the pandemic, you just said that maybe you went back to that feeling. When you go back to that album and listen to it, what do you guys feel? What are the feelings that you get from it?
Kind of some of those feelings I said. What do you get, Dan?
I mean, it's such a developmental time in our lives. You know, we're pretty young in our early 20s, and I guess I kind of feel nostalgia, but there's still a kind of connection to that time of our lives. You know, it was very exciting. There was all these new things. We were traveling around. We were making music. I don't know. It was a very kind of formative time in our life. It felt a lot of freedom, I guess, as well. Like any band will know, the first album you have this kind of sense of freedom and just doing whatever music makes you happy. And then, you know, we were blessed to be able to travel the world and play to other people. But yeah, I think it. And then after the first album, then you feel a little bit more of the pressure to follow up. You know, more music to kind of maintain that momentum that you have. But yeah, it's, I don't know, freedom and flow and good energy.
You know, mentioning that word freedom, I think it's important when we compare the music from 2010 to the music that is currently done in the industry. It looks like freedom is no longer part of the formula. Talking about music, do you guys think that that freedom that you guys had back in 2012, we will have in this new album you're preparing?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people have the opportunity again that we didn't have for probably 8 of those 12 years. And if you think about earlier in music, even before we released that album, like the whole industry was controlled very tightly by, you know, radio labels, things like that.
Yeah.
So if you didn't fit into the picture, or you weren't like an extremely original act that was just blowing everyone's mind, you didn't really have a space. You either had to be allowed in. And I think like now that like you mentioned, Gabby, that music is all happening in all forms at once thanks to Spotify and whatnot. Like you can hear every genre, and there's so many times where like I'll avoid something because I think it's not trendy enough, and then somebody else will do it and it will go really well. And it's like, why am I avoiding what I can do the best just to fit in? And so I think like that door has opened now for everyone to just, you don't have to be part of a trend. You don't have to be part of anything. You can just do your own thing. And if it's good and interesting, there's going to be people out there listening to it. So that freedom is back, I think. And it's at least what we're exploring. And I mean, I wouldn't even care if some of it sounded like music from 10 years ago. Like the door is that open that you can kind of, as long as it's relevant in some way, you can do it.
And I feel like
That's
people,
kind
yes,
of a good message. I was just going to say that's kind of a good message for any kind of creative
Absolutely.
person or an artist who's trying to have that inspiration or that creative outlet. Is you have to have a sense of freedom and following what what resonates with you. Like you're expressing yourself at the end of the day, and so why try and follow trends or someone else? Like, yeah, you can be inspired by other music or artists, etc. But it's really just an expression of you, and you should follow that.
I totally agree.
If you're not doing that, you're missing something.
And it's more than ever, being original is important for people. So yeah, I completely agree with you guys.
That's what I was going to say. People read through all the marketing schemes and everything. Like now it feels way much more honest if people do actually approach music with that type of mentality, with the just being yourself, enjoying what you're doing. And
because being yourself is in itself, you're being original. Every single person is different. Like we have different DNA, genetic makeup. We have different personalities. Like when you express that itself is being original, instead of copying someone else or whatever.
Yeah. Does that actually affect it? Because from what I knew, your last project, you guys were working on it independently, right?
Yeah.
Did that also mentality affect you guys going through it in a more independent way? And what have you learned from this entire experience too?
Well, that project was a little different. It was very unique because we were actually trying to do something completely different to normally what we do. It wasn't completely different, but it was just a very specific sound we were doing. We were trying to present it as like, here's us doing this thing, as opposed to a part of the stream of what we've actually always done. So yeah, it's hard to answer the question around that because that was intentionally quite different. Dan, did you remember the question?
Yeah, no, I think it was, the shapes were just a different, and again, it was another period in our lives where we were all inspired by that kind of, Talking Heads, In Excess kind of sound, and we just felt like we needed to replicate that in our own way and put it out there. I mean, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good, like, I love that EP. I think the detail and everything is amazing, but yeah, it's not us in a true sense. It's us doing a little side thing,
I would like to talk about Australia because since we're doing a radio show, a daily radio show about indie and alternative music that is not the common music in the Dominican Republic, we constantly have new artists from Australia. We have Parcells, which is a band that I love. Also, Winston Searchard, Ken Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Tura, and also Leisure and
My
all,
Life too also.
My Life, of course.
Yeah. That are also playing. Yeah, we have a lot of Australians here in the art.
And
at least in the fest.
It looks like something great is going on in Australia when it comes to music. What do you guys have in mind when you hear this?
I used to think it was related to how we grew up, but I'm not sure anymore.
Oh, what changed?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I think like it's reasonably different now. It's probably not, but I don't know. We didn't have as many problems as America and things like that. So,
Touche.
There seemed to be like a more happy-go-lucky thing, and I think that allowed us to like be more creative and explore creative endeavors. And yeah, there's much less lower class as well than America. So again, that means more people in the middle class, more people able to have those opportunities to just be free and explore those things and not be like held back financially. So I used to think that had something to do with it, and also like Australia being such a colorful, fun place in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But now like everyone who's 20 didn't grow up even in the 90s. So I'm not really sure like how much that impacts that.
Super interesting what you're saying.
Yeah.
When it comes to the quality of their music, what do you guys think?
Of the other acts?
about
that you mentioned.
the bands I just told you. What do you?
They're all good. I mean, everyone's good, you know.
It's also like, it's quite difficult to break out of Australia, and so you have to be quite good and have kind of an international appeal before you even kind of tour, around Australia or bring that to an Australian audience. Because I know there's a lot of good bands out of Australia that just maybe the rest of the world doesn't hear because they don't over into the international feel.
That's the other thing. Like you were saying, how many good bands come out of Australia, but like 70% of them that are good still don't. You know, like you haven't even heard of them, and they're usually reasonably good. So I think it has something to. The ones that seem to make it are the ones that have more character and fit into a worldly sound.
I feel like music is just so broad in so many aspects that you can actually listen to a song even in a language that you don't understand and still appreciate it, which is why this is the Spanish segment that I was saying in the beginning with, for example, Leila, that you guys made an interpretation also in Spanish. Why did you guys make it in Spanish?
Just because it was like we always wanted to do a song in Spanish because we had a lot of fans that spoke the language, really. Like probably more than 50% of our fans are in Mexico and Latin America.
Whoa,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I feel like it was more of a way to kind of give back to that kind of, Central America, Mexico, South America, that we tour so much down there and we always have, the best time. And it was just a way to kind of show respect and appreciation.
That's so lovely. Why do you think you had this huge fan base in Mexico?
Because they just want to party, man.
Unas chelitas.
I want to know the same thing. I want to know why as well. Maybe it's because our lyrics are really bad, but they don't know that they're bad.
Come on.
But they're not. What are you saying?
Come on.
This is not the way to promote.
I'm just joking, but it's,
no, we know.
Yeah, possible.
So what are you guys preparing for the DR? Have you been here before, by the way?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Puerto Rico, and I think Costa Rica and Ecuador. So yeah, it's confusing because I feel like there's a tiny chance that maybe like in 2012 or something we might have, but I think it was just there were a few offers on the table and we never made it.
Let's just take it as this is the first time.
I can't believe it's taken this long.
So what are the feelings about the DR?
What was that?
What are the feelings around DR? What are you preparing for us?
Oh, the playa, man. Just got to get to the playa.
The playa.
Claro.
There you go.
Playa.
We're really excited. It's like, we love going to new places that we've never been before. We just expect a, great crowd and, beautiful culture that we get to visit and experience. Like, we're just, looking forward to that.
Yeah, we don't really do too much research before. It's like, it's more exciting to just go there and then find it out,
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any preference in alcohol? Saying that just so we got that prepared. Like, do you guys like beer, or are you guys like a rum, whiskey kind of person? Like, are you guys more adventurous too?
Or maybe they just don't drink.
Oh, I don't drink either, so.
Yeah, I don't go too crazy anymore, but I like mezcal a lot. That's probably my drink of choice.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Mezcal.
Oh, mezcal.
Yeah.
Damn, you tough.
Yeah.
Because that ain't easy.
Well, we thought it was like a smooth drink that is very clean and doesn't affect you.
Mezcal?
Well,
yeah. Well, that's because it's clear. We just thought that, and then we kept we were having like really bad headaches and things afterwards, and then somebody in Mexico told us it's one of the bigger hangover drinks,
Yeah, it totally is. That's why I was like, damn, you guys are tough, because mezcal is not easy.
And we thought we could have a lot of it because we thought like, oh, we're not going to get a hangover from this no matter what.
Oh boy.
I hope you guys don't have a hangover here. Hopefully not. So yeah, before I go, real quick, because I saw you guys made like a rage selection, musical selection thing. Top Daft Punk song,
Oh.
real fast, because I saw it really repeated.
Digital Love.
Love Digital Love. It's a great song.
That's a good one. I really like the funk. There's quite a few that you could say, but Prison Dolls as well.
Yeah, you just got to pick one, Dan. Obviously, there's a million.
All right, fine. Prison Dolls.
Love it, love it. Oh my God, we are really excited. Here's the second excited. You see?
There you go.
We're really excited for you guys to actually be here. 3? Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, this is the third one.
God damn it. We're really excited for you guys to be here. For real, the crowd is going to be great. They're gonna
Yeah,
love
we
you.
guarantee you that.
We really
That's a
like to
fact.
party here. You guys have Mexico as a reference, but you guys are gonna be impressed.
Get
with this
ready for the
crowd.
DR, guys.
Yes, for real. And
Have to get my sleep before I come then, hey?
yes, a bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this time, and we cannot wait to see you live next week in the DR. Thank you very much. We love you guys.
Thank you. See you
Yeah.
then. Bye.
Soon. Hey.
Bye-bye.